Welcome to the Journeyman Cave, a podcast where we meet and chat with some of boxing's most seasoned road warriors, hosted by Mark Shakespeare and Chris Scarfe.
Welcome back to the Journeyman Cave, everybody. This week we've got Jerome Wilson joining us. Tell us a bit about him, Shecky. You've met him, haven't you?
Most certainly have, yeah. Good kid is Jerome.
Yeah.
I think we'll get a good interview on him today. I mean, it's tough in life, and he'll mention it today, obviously. And we speak to you about what's happened to him. It's not been right nice. But there'll be some fun stuff in there as well.
Yeah.
Especially about the old wipeout. I'm looking forward to hearing about his story.
Yeah, you keep telling me about this.
Yeah.
And I want to hear it from the horse's mouth. So.
It should be interesting, because I think if circumstances hadn't gone a bit differently, I think he'd have gone forward, Jerome, and yeah. I'm looking forward to hearing from him, to be quite honest.
His record that you always get me to print him off, what were it? 8 from 11 wins? And I wondered why he'd stopped, and, well, I'm sure he'll talk about it.
Well, that's exactly what I want to get him into. I don't think he's been on many interviews since, and I think it'd be nice to get his story across, and that's what we're here for, isn't it, really?
Yeah. Well, we'll get him in then, shall we?
Let's do it.
Jerome Wilson, welcome to the Journeyman Cave. Thanks for joining us.
Yeah, thank you for having me.
Great to see you. Mark's been telling me quite a lot about your history and your career, so let's get into it, shall we? How did you get into boxing?
You know what? It's a funny one. I've always been interested in sports since from the age of 6, 7 years old. Dad used to teach karate. I was with my brother, and that we always used to do a lot of like martial arts from a young age and take part in sports and look after health. We always used to have this little challenge, me and my brother. We used to have bunk beds, just doing pull-ups and sit-ups and things on the bunk beds. So it was always being like competitive and always being interested in just keeping fit and being strong. So anyway, later down the line, I'm in secondary school now. So I was 15 years old, bunch of people, friends. They lived around the Hyde Park area in Sheffield. And they went to a gym to do some weights and do a bit of boxing. So there was a good bunch of them. Then they said, "Oh, Jerome, why don't you come down?" At the time I was playing basketball. I know I'm only small. I played point guard position. just bringing the ball up and just setting it all up and things like that. But anyway, I thought, yeah, I'll give it a go, just for a bit of fitness as well. So I went along with them to do a bit of training. And then, you know what? I was introduced to the footwork and the drills. And I saw a lot of the other fighters that were there. They were very skillful and they loved what they were doing. I loved watching what they were doing as well, because they used the brain and they wasn't swinging. They were very technical. I was trained by Chris Medley and Dave Caldwell. So they introduced me to the footwork. Just fell in love with it. And I liked the movement and the challenge. It was very challenging, on the body. And there was a good bunch of people in there. So as the weeks went by, a lot of my friends that originally went there, they trickled away. I stayed. And just continued the training and my study, which was important to me at that time. Mum always said, you always have to have something to fall back on, or just to have some kind of skills and qualifications behind you, so there's a little bit more about you kind of thing, for work and things like that.
Did you do a bit of amateur as well then, Jerome? Or?
Yeah. I did amateur. I think I represented Yorkshire a few times in Ireland. Won them, lost one of them in Sheffield against Ireland, actually. But yeah, it was decent. I wasn't really too comfortable with the amateur game. I was always a thinking kind of fighter. You think about what I'm doing, not rush into it, work off the jab a bit and just move around and use the ring. I didn't put all the combinations together right fast and in and out. I wasn't like that. It was more like I wanted to, when I landed the shot, I wanted it to be technically right kind of thing.
Yeah.
Do you know what I mean? Just have a little bit more about me. But yeah, my style didn't mesh me well, I don't think, with the amateurs. But it's all experience. Yeah. And I did learn a lot. You're fighting in front of people. I think when I started, there was all smoke all over, and that was horrible. It was very good at times. There was a bit of banter, with all the crowd and things when you're traveling around different places. There were some mad things that we did see when we was in some of the amateur contests and the events that we went to. But
what age were you at this point?
15, 16.
So at school then, doing amateur thing, right?
Left school, went to college. I was doing a lot of studying, different qualifications. Just continue with the boxing, just to see how far I could get. Do you know what I mean?
And then you turned over pro, didn't you, mate?
Yeah. As I was saying, I was still in education. I did my degree in management. And after that, I felt like I needed to go traveling a bit. Do you know what I mean? So I managed to with qualifications, I'd just get a job working on a cruise ship.
Oh, nice one.
I became a personal trainer and fitness instructor and a masseur for Fred Olsen Cruises. So basically, I was working on there for about 6 months or so. And then while I was on there, I was thinking, you know what, I need to take this more seriously. I've got my education behind me. And what do I want to do in life? Do you know what I mean? I want to compete in boxing. I believe I've got potential. I believe I've got some talent. Who's going to lead me to where I need to be? So I thought I'd contact Dave Caldwell, because he was my original trainer to start off with. And I says, oh, I'm interested in becoming a pro. Would you be able to train me and help me along the way? Because I'm wanting to be serious and turn professional. And we just he says, oh, when you're back, get in contact with me, and then we'll go from there. So obviously, time's gone by. I've come back to shore, come back to England, and then I thought, this is what I need to get in contact. And then the rest was history. I turned pro with him, trained with a lot of the good fighters. Because at the time when I went back there was Kell Brook, Ryan Rhodes, John Anthony, Curtis Woodhouse, Naveed. So there was Nav Mansouri, Cash Ali. There was a load of different kind of fighters. So, yeah, there was a good bunch of fighters there, different weights, different styles. And I thought, you know what, that's what I need. You know what I mean? Someone to have a decent trainer there and good of the stable mates there who've all got something different, you know what I mean, to give and compete against, and obviously help improve my own skill set and how I want to fight as a fighter.
You sparred any of them guys?
Yeah, sparred a lot. Yes, sparred all of them. Did many rounds with them. We did a lot of open, body sparring, mix it up. We had a lot of challenges together, you know, when we trained together, and we always wanted to beat the other, and, you know, that camaraderie, that kind of competition in the gym was there, which was quite fun at times. And it was, it helped to bring you on. Do you know what I mean? When we did them kind of things. And we had a good bit of banter, which was enjoyable, you know, amongst other fighters, because they all wanted to do the same kind of thing. Everyone's at different levels as well. There's many different levels there. Some were better than others. Do you know what I mean? But some of them were further along in their career than others. Some were starting off. You know what I mean? Like, I was just starting off in the pro ranks kind of thing. And wanting to get to that, and wanting to, like, Ryan Rhodes was one of my idols in the gym. Didn't tell him, but I looked up to him, and I'm sparring with him. I was like, freaking hell, I'm moving around with some great fighters, and Kell Brook and all that. Moving around with them, and I'm doing decent, doing well. Curtis and that. And I enjoyed it. Do you know what I mean? I felt very comfortable in the gym, and a lot of people would say probably I did better in the gym than I did in fights. But I think that was just down to feeling more comfortable and less pressure and things like that. Yeah. So that's something that you gain though with experience. And unfortunately, I didn't have many fights as a pro, and my career wasn't really managed correctly, and things didn't go really to plan. So I didn't really reach that kind of comfortability, is that a word? I wasn't as comfortable.
It is now.
Well, yeah, we make it. We make these new words.
We'll put it in dictionary. We'll stick it in, Jerome, eh?
Has to be done.
Why not?
I mean, it weren't, I'm just looking at your record, it weren't a long one, but it was quite a successful one, I think. I think you won, 8 out of 11?
Yeah, that's right. I lost against 2 fighters. Jay Morris, I think that was my 5th or 4th fight. When I lost him, I wasn't really ready to be in that ring, to be honest, at that point in time. I shouldn't have fought, but me being me, I'm a fighter and I don't like to turn down fights. But at the same time, I did say to my manager, I don't feel like I need to fight in this one. I'm not right. There's things happening outside the ring that don't have much control over, and it's affecting how I train. I don't feel right. I said that before. So, oh, Jerome, you'll be all right. But this guy was the guy that gave Curtis Woodhouse his first loss. And I think that was in Curtis's, 13th fight or something like that. So it was long down in his career, but I knew he was no mug. Do you know what I mean? So I knew he was no mug. I was told that he may be a bit of a dirty fighter, a bit of rough and ready fighter. I knew that, but I have no fear for any fighter or any man. Don't fear nothing. So I wasn't really bothered about that. I believe I've got potential to beat him. But at that point in time, I wasn't ready to fight anyone. But went in there, took the fight. It was a bit of a dirty fight. I got low blows. Referee didn't really see them. I don't think he did. Hindsight, I should have taken a knee or something, you know, when I got caught. Me being brave, I went through it. Yeah, do you know what I mean? Yeah. And when it was affecting me, it ended up being a very scrappy, close fight. I think I lost the fight by 1 point. It was a very close fight, but it wasn't a fight. It was something that I wasn't really used to. Do you know what I mean? So I'm putting a lot of the pressure on. I did learn from that, but it was very, it's fighting for you. It's not a tickling contest, is it? You get in there, fight decent opposition. I was told I would be getting sponsorship and this, that, and other if I win that fight, and I'll be getting looked after, and all these things were said before, and I feel like it's a bit of pressure there, but I don't know, it was very upsetting when I had that loss. No, but I'm a winner. I don't like losing anything. So when I lost that fight, it affected me quite bad actually, because I thought that's not good. But at the same time, I'm dealing with other things as well. I'm thinking, oh, it's a shocking this. But
And if your mind's not there, Jerome, you know what I mean, in the ring, I mean, it needs to be 100%, doesn't it, at all costs.
definitely, it definitely.
There's nothing without that mind, is it, really? You
Uh-huh.
need that to be 100%.
Yeah, it's a dangerous place. You can't mess around in that ring, really. If you're not right, you shouldn't really be in there. But it's a hard one. There's a lot of pride and there's a lot of ego and this kind of that's involved in boxing in that at times. You can get a bit carried away with yourself at times. I don't know, it's good to be mindful of a lot of things and try and do the best you can for yourself and for those that support you as well, if that makes sense. But it's just, you learn a lot. I've learned so much from my career anyway, good and bad. So when I look back at things, I'm like, why is that happening? Why did that happen? I think, why didn't I do this and why didn't I do that? It's all experience and it's what it is. I've learned so much through the good times and the bad times. So it's like, I've gone through it. I've experienced it. I've got the highs and the lows in my mind that I remember. It's like, sometimes it's upsetting. Sometimes it's like, I feel proud about certain things. Sometimes I feel upset about things, but it's what it is. It's just part of life.
How often were you fighting at this point?
Early days, 3 or 4 fights in the first year. I wasn't fighting regularly because I was only fighting on Dave Caldwell's shows.
Yeah.
At the start. So he didn't put shows on all the time. But at the start, I was fighting on his shows because I believe he was my promoter. He put me on his shows.
Yeah.
So basically, that's...
I just wondered if you might have taken like a bit of a break after that Morris defeat.
You know, memory's not great. And I forget the amount of time I had off after I had that loss. It was about 6 months. Another guy I think he was from abroad, and he came over to the UK.
Daniel Mikulev.
Mikulev, yeah. I think he was undefeated. That was in Birmingham. That was another Caldwell show. And I thought, yeah, I'm going to make a comeback. I'm going to make a good show. No pressure, didn't have to sell tickets for that show. So that wasn't any pressure. And I put on a very good show. Totally outboxed him each round, moving around. And he was a decent guy. He knew what he was doing. He wasn't one of them swingers, wasn't unorthodox kind of thing. He had a bit of a movement, but I think I handled him quite well. Felt very comfortable in that fight.
So it's nice to get back in with a winning it. And
Definitely.
well, let's go back to your debut.
Yeah.
One of my heroes,
Mm-hmm.
Johnny Greaves, come on.
Oh.
What were you like? Come on, in that ring.
You know what it is? It was my first ever professional fight, so I was excited and nervous and things like that. And I knew he's been around, and I know he's very skillful in what he does, moving around, providing a good competition for the fighters that he fights. So I thought, all right, I was told to establish my jab, don't do anything too stupid kind of thing, and just box to orders kind of thing. And that's basically what I did. But with that guy, he was putting his arms around me, giving me uppercuts from behind his back, saying, oh, what are you doing? He was whispering things in my ear. I'm thinking, what the hell's happening here? Never had that in amateur or, do you know what I mean? Never had that in the amateurs. We've had a little mess about when we're in the gym and things like that. We're sparring with people and we're having a little chat and a bit of banter. But in a fight, never had that before. And I thought, and there's people watching. I'm thinking, what is this guy? What's this guy doing? He just tried to put me off, get into my head. But I kept my cool. But I felt like laughing when I was fighting at times, but I had to keep my cool. He was a funny guy. And you know, at the end of fights, what I remember, he like pulled to one side, oh yeah, you're good. What you need to do, you need to make sure you just relax a little bit more kind of thing. And, you know, it gives you a bit of pointers. And I did remember that. Not everything word for word, but I appreciated that.
Yeah.
Because it was like, we've had the fight, there's gained a bit of respect from the person. And we had a chat afterwards. I didn't feel like I wanted to do anything else to the guy. It was just a fight, innit?
Yeah.
So he's a top guy. I have got nothing bad to say about him.
But that's what journeymen do, don't they? You do learn a lot. I mean, they say sometimes people say they aren't going to place in boxing, but like I've just said there, they do learn you things, don't they?
Definitely.
And they do point you in the right direction, like Johnny did.
If you're doing something wrong, they'll punish you for that.
Mm-hmm.
Do you know what I mean? At times, if they've got that competitiveness inside them, so then they know they can exploit something, they'll do that. In little openings, you try to exploit that and try to do that, but at times. And I think that's important, especially when you're learning.
Mm. Didn't you have Sid Razak as well?
Sid Razak? Yes, I did. Yeah, Sid Razak, another Magnus show. He wasn't much of a character with as Johnny. He was more in there, do the rounds, more structured, no? Just a fight.
Was he strong?
Parts, but I was very good at making people miss. I used the ring quite well, so I never take a shot flush. I always make them miss just enough. So I'd like ride a shot and move so I don't take a full force. So I never really took a forceful one, which would be daft to me if I did, because obviously that's how you get caught, that's how you get knocked out and wobbled. And at them times, it was like, I could see the shots, I was just avoiding them, blocking them and countering. I used that as a learning fight to get the rounds in, boxed orders again, and just learn all myself in center of the ring, move around, and just basically establish the jab and move around correctly. I think I did that all right from what I remember in that fight.
What were your best win then? I know you had many pros.
Well, do you know what? There was a fight that I fought. Was it my third fight? And I think that was at MEN on the David A. and Ole Harrison undercard.
Yeah, I think we talked about
that
that
was the first time I got weighed in day before. I thought, oh, this is good, this. I got looked after at a hotel. I was with my brother. I was just chilling. Trained well for that. Very good training camp for that. Felt nice and relaxed. Made weight nicely. Felt very comfortable. Full of energy. When I got into that ring, nice big ring, guy giving me one of them fierce looks in the eye. I'm thinking, he's going to try and give me a good fight, yeah? I thought, yeah, he's on a good bill. Went out, bell goes, established that jab, nice and relaxed, alert, putting my shots together. The guy couldn't catch me. But I thought, this is, I'm enjoying this. You know, I'm enjoying it, feel comfortable. Landing shots, won that round. Second round comes now. There's this, do the same as what you did last round. Don't do anything daft. Use your reflexes. Establish your jabs and your different combinations. Did that. Bam. Like, slipped shot, left backhand, sharp as anything. Nice shot. Knocked him out. Just floored him. It was not so much the power, it was the placement and the technique and the speed of the actual shot when I threw it. Sweet shot. One of them shots that was just placed well, thrown correctly. I couldn't do nothing about it. And then I thought, I was on a great shot here. And that was one of the best knockouts of that year, according to Sky.
They used to every Christmas, didn't they?
Yeah, yes.
Every Christmas, they used to like 10 KOs a year. So if you got on them top 10, mate, it would have
been on top 10.
Just after Christmas, on Boxing Day, they'd have like the top 10 fights at year and the top 10 knockouts, wouldn't they? Every Christmas.
On Boxing Day.
On Boxing Day.
Brilliant.
Yeah.
I know Scarfe, I'd like to know about the old wipeout, mate.
Oh, the wipeout where I got my name.
I need to hear the full details.
I'm still fuming from when he told me.
It's shocking. It's shocking. Do you know what? I'm very athletic and I'm always up for a challenge. But I've watched the show for a long time, Total Wipeout on BBC when it was on. I thought, I'd love to go on that show. I do well on that. And it's based in Argentina. So anyway, I applied many times, didn't get through. Applied, got through to auditions. Got through to the final stage because you have to go. I think I went to Newcastle for this audition. So there was thousands of people that audition in different slots. They whittle you down. They turn you into like a pool of like 600 potential people for going on the show. And I got through all the stages. And then this is, sorry, you're not going to get through today.
Sorry, but what are they looking for? What
do you have to do? I'm going to ask that.
Character. You're looking for basically characters and just anyone who applies could go on it. But they're wanting certain kinds of people that have got a bit about them.
Right.
So, and then they choose, I think, 360 people for the full series of a show, and then basically they put you on a show, and then you competitions try and win 10 grand. So there's different stages in that Total Wipeout, different obstacle courses to go on, and then you have to compete within the fastest amount of time first. Do you know what I mean? And when I got on there, basically I was one of them. Came first, came second, and joined the stages. And I did very well. Got through to the last stage. I was probably the favourite to win that particular episode. When you do the show, each of the obstacles, they give you like a little briefing of what you need to do, what you can do, what you can't do, to make sure you're doing it safely and it's basically fair.
Yeah.
So anyway, because I've got through to the final obstacle course and you have to do it in the fastest amount of time. And if you win in the fastest amount of time against 2 other people this time, then you win 10 grand. And they give them the briefing saying what you can and you can't do. You can't bend up and down. You know, when the sweeper's coming around, you're not allowed to do that. You have to go. Once you go, you can't stop. You can't bend up and down. So this is what they said to us before the start. So anyway, I've listened to that. So when it's my turn to go on it, I've just gone for it. And I thought, oh shit, I've taken the wrong time in here because it was going to knock me off. I'm thinking I knew it was going to knock me off because I wasn't fast enough. But I said, oh no, I'm going to have to jump off or get knocked off and then try and come back again. So I've done that because that's what it states in the rules. You have to do that. So I've done that. I've got a decent time, but unfortunately it wasn't the winning one. And then this is programmed. You know, the actual show is recorded months in advance.
Oh, yeah.
So I think it was like 6 months, 7 months between, when they come on TV. So I get to watch it on TV now with my family. I've not told them where I come. and I told them how well I've done or whatever. So they didn't know. Nobody knew. So I was sitting around and said, "Oh, you've done well here. You won that 10 grand. You've won that 10 grand. I know you because the scene, seeing how well I've done." He says, what you buying me? What you buying me this time? I'm like, but I couldn't say nothing. Do you know what I mean? I'm like, oh, I'm gutted. So anyway, I watched it back now. The guy that won it, he did the last part of it and he was bouncing up and down, avoiding the sweeper.
Yeah.
And I'm watching it now because when we were there, we couldn't watch each other's run. I was the last one up. So I'm thinking, do you know what? The guy cheated there, didn't he? He was bouncing up and down so he didn't get knocked off. And I'm thinking, we're not allowed to do that. But anyway, it is what it is. He did that. He bent the rules a little bit, got the win. He won.
How much faster were you?
Do you know what? I was still in contention for winning it,
That's what I'm
I got
thinking.
knocked off again. But yeah, it was very close. I forgot the amount of the time between, but it was very close. I came second on the show.
You're a parkour man, wasn't you?
Yeah, parkour guy. Yeah, parkour. He was a good guy as well. Everyone, do you know what? It was a good bunch of people. I think for each show, I think there was a competition against 14 people or so. 14 16 people it was. So it whittled down to final 3. And I was in the final 3, but I finished second. But it was some good fun.
Yeah.
A week away in Buenos Aires in Argentina.
Did they fly you out?
They fly you out
Yeah.
there, BBC. They fly you out there, put you up, sort out your food, give you a bit of spending money, for the different things when you're out there. So the whole experience of that was great. Just besides the loss at the end.
Yeah.
But competing in it was great.
We'll have to find this guy. We'll have to find him. Yeah, maybe that trophy. Might not get your money back, Joe.
He owes me 10 grand.
Yeah, and he's definitely got that trophy under his bed, ain't it? It's nailed on.
Definitely.
No, he did well. He did very well.
We'll let him off then, Jerome. We'll let him
It's all fun. It's all fun. Well, back then, 10 grand would have done very well.
off.
With 10 grand at that point in time, when I had to worry about working for a bit, be honest, focus a lot on training and things like that, it would have been ideal.
Yeah.
But it wasn't meant to be.
There weren't even a second place prize, anything,
no
just
second
first.
place prize.
Oh,
Each show cost them a lot of money to make, though. I was glad to get away. A week away in Argentina.
did you get a chance to see
Twice.
any of it?
Yeah. We got to walk around Argentina and Buenos Aires after the filming each day, and that was good. Good bunch of people. It was just a different environment,
Yeah.
different place. It was very good.
That's something you don't forget, will it? That's something
No.
you'll always have, mate. That.
No, yeah, definitely.
Yeah.
And it was before my kids were born, so they get to watch it back because it came back on and they love it. They said, our dad's on
Dad's on
TV.
telly.
He's watching that, and I thought, yeah, this is it. Now, did you win? Oh, you're rubbish, you. You're rubbish. How
You're
can you let him
rubbish.
beat you?
Yeah, my son George watched it 3 or 4 times. Hope if he watched it again, they'd actually win.
Oh.
But
Yeah, I know. It's one of them. It'll always be there, and I think it'll always keep on coming up on TV at times as well, on the different channels. So it's an achievement, but it was good. Very
Yeah.
good.
no mean feat, mate. No mean feat. That coming second.
Yeah, very fortunate to get on it, but unfortunate not to win it. Like I said, I'm a winner, innit? But it's when you don't win,
Just so
Got it.
close, and then
so close,
Yeah,
so
so
close,
far.
but yet so far.
exactly.
One of them.
Yeah.
We'll let him off. We'll let him
Yeah.
off.
Next time.
Next time.
If they do another one, I'm still in training right now, try and get myself back to fitness. So
Yeah.
now, if they do something similar, I might get on that.
Yeah, definitely. Because on that
Ninja
Ninja Warrior,
Warrior.
they always come back, don't
That's a
they?
decent one.
crackers that.
That's a decent one.
You fancy that one, Jerome?
Ooh, I would. You know what it is? I need to make sure I'm physically fit and strong
Yeah.
again. I'm nowhere where I want to be yet, but I'll hopefully get there. I'm always up for these challenges and this life challenge that I've had with my injury. I've been developing. It's been very difficult, but eventually I'll get to where I want to be. I keep that mindset and the mentality to keep pushing. With some of my difficulties that I have now from before, I didn't have no issues, but now with my brain injury, I do. But it's just one of them things, just trying to manage, persevere with things.
Yeah. Well, and you mentioned that. I mean, just for anybody who doesn't know,
Yeah.
do you mind telling us about
Yeah.
this injury? What happened?
Yeah, in my last fight, I think it was my 11 for 12 fight. I fought a guy called Sir John Bomber. It was a fight that was scheduled in to fight on one of Dave Caldwell's show and Eddie Earn's show, actually. It was shown on that platform. So basically now, fought him, first fight, toe-to-toe. It was one of the best fights I've fought, probably. Well, fan-friendly fight that I've had a fight. That's because it was very entertaining,
Yeah.
toe-to-toe at times. The public got to see a very good matchup. You know what I mean? Even. I lost the first fight. Got a call for a rematch. I believe that I was better than the guy, better technical movement and things like that. So I believe that it was worth another fight. We had the rematch. I don't remember the fight whatsoever, but I have watched the fight back. Same again. It's first round, toe to toe, very close, even fight. I think I got dropped and I face planted. And you know, when I watched myself, it looked like I was watching another person in my body. I watched the fight back and thought, how the hell have you got up from that? So then I got back up and then I'm continuing the fight. And I was told by the referee at a later date, he says that basically the last round, because it was only a 6th rounder. 6th round, it was even. It was 50-50 on the scorecard. So I needed to win the last round. I don't know how long was left in the round, probably a minute. I got a blow, sustained a few blows to the head. Unfortunately, I encountered a bleed on my brain. So basically something's exploded in my brain and it's something I couldn't recover from without having a brain operation. So basically, I've had the fight, I've landed on the canvas, I've seen the guy, Serge, lean over me and give me a kiss on the forehead. And then there's a cutthroat gesture to the crowd. I'm being told all of this as well. And I'm thinking, I don't know how you could do something like that.
Yeah.
You know, when I've got my daughter, the first time, my 3-year-old daughter, it's the first time she's come to watch me fight. I've got my partner's kids, you know, my stepkids are watching the fight, my family watching the fight, and some of my fans watching the fight and seeing all of that. I'm thinking, wow.
Yeah.
And obviously I'm touch and go. I'm dying basically on the floor, on the canvas. And I had to get intervention by the paramedics. And then with that, there was a bit of a mess about. I can't go too much into that, but there was issues there. Eventually I got to the hospital and they've had to perform a life-saving brain surgery, cut off quarter of my skull, take it off my head, do the operation, place in a coma for 9 or 10 days, all touch and go, hoping that my brain swells in the right way, because if it swells the wrong way, I'm dead. If I don't recover, come back out my coma, I'm dead. Do you know what I mean? It's just, there was a lot of things. My body was fighting for it, so fighting to survive while I'm in this coma. Fortunately, I survived, but with issues, like when I woke up, I've got chews all different parts of my body. I'm thinking all these things that have happened that didn't happen or what I thought did happen. You know, it's all in my book as well. I felt like I lived a different kind of life in the reality that I was in. But really, when I come around to it, I wasn't really living that reality. It's very weird, profound how I say it right now. But it's very surreal. When you're in a coma and you're fighting for your life, it was like I was transported to a different kind of realm of reality. And I was living that life and I remember it still. It was more than a dream. Do you know what I mean? Yeah. Because I still remember it. Normally dreams, you forget them. But I remember new people's names and different things that happened. It was just mad.
I mean, the book's amazing, mate. I mean, I must admit, I've read it myself. I mean, I got a copy off you a few years ago and that life you led inside that coma, you know what I mean? It's just proved. It's crazy, mate, isn't it?
It is mad. It is mad. It's hard to describe. It is profound and surreal and scary. I'm very fortunate to be alive. Like I said, I have my issues and things that I'm learning to manage and deal with. And I believe I'm doing very well. And I'm proud of myself for being able to take on these challenges, because the alternative is just, you know, forgetting everything and just doing nothing. But I've got a second chance at life and I need to do things with my life. Do you know what I mean? I'm not doing loads, but what I am doing is enough for now. Like before my injury, I used to do all sorts with personal training, coaching, teaching, doing all sorts of different kinds of things before, all the time, from one place to another. I had loads of energy and it was manageable and I enjoyed it. This time I'm not doing as much, but I've got my kids and I love being around them.
How old are they now?
My daughter, she's 10. My son and I just turned 7 a few weeks ago. Stepkid, he's oldest, he's 24, got 16 and 14.
You should be proud, Jerome. You should be proud. You're looking really well, mate. You know, and you know, like you said, I mean, I talked to you a few weeks ago. Take it a couple of steps at a time, mate, and you'll get there.
Yeah.
I can tell by talking to you, you're going to get back, mate.
All practice, or all practicing what I preach, and just basically just trying to stay positive at times, because I have problems with depressions and things like that, and you have the ups and downs, but I acknowledge it and I don't shy away from it. And I just think, you know what? That's how it is. How am I going to deal with it? That's the issue. What am I going to put in place to try and manage that and deal with that on a day-to-day basis? Yeah. You know, problems with energy levels, fatigue and memory and all sorts of pain and this, that and other. I could go on and on. Yeah. I'm not going to, but still, there's the different kind of challenges and things that you can't let them beat you. It's things that you have to try to be proactive about and how you go about dealing with it on a day-to-day basis. And that's how I am. Yeah. I have to keep it real with it. I'm far from perfect, but I'm trying each and every day to get by with certain things.
The book's called Wiped Out.
Yep.
How did that come about then? How did you?
I was in hospital. One of the nurses said, you should write things down and record things down. So if you forget, we can look at it and then we know how you're feeling or know what's happened. So I kept that on board. When I got access to my phone, I could barely see properly, but I managed to do it. And then I'll just keep, as I continued doing that when I left the hospital after 2 months. Continued to do that. And I think I was writing it on Twitter or something like what I've done. I've been writing all my, diary together of how it's been. It was one of my friends, I think one of the people I used to teach. She said, that would make a good book. And then that was put on social media. And then a guy called Mark Taylor, who wrote the book, The Journeyman, he caught wind of that. And then he got in contact with me. He says, I'm aware of your story and know that you've been putting together a diary. He says, how would you feel about having this made into a book? At that time, obviously, months of me living with a brain injury, everything's new to me and surreal and things. I'm like, yeah, I can welcome that opportunity. I'll see how it goes. But I wasn't with it all. Do you know what I mean? So it was like, is this really happening kind of thing? So I thought, whatever. So I thought, yeah, have a chat with him. And he was down to earth guy. He explained it to me. I says, all right, I'm willing to talk to you, have some meetings, sit downs, discuss my life, my boxing career. And then I'll leave it to you to change it into a book. And it says, probably based on how I was for the first year of my brain injury, what happened and things like that. And it was obviously before I had my second brain operation. So it was leading up to the second operation because I had a quarter of my skull off my head for the first year, where obviously you could see my brain moving up and down when I'm eating my food and things like that. And it's just like, sometimes it'll go into a crater, and then sometimes it'll be ballooned up because the pressure's moving up and down and the skull's not there to keep everything in. So because that was gone, sometimes it's out here, sometimes it's there. Sometimes I couldn't even eat food because there was it felt weird where it got some excruciating pain. Certain things weren't in place. And there were certain stresses on certain parts of the body. My jaw would lock into place. And I just couldn't eat anything. Did that. I thought, explained a lot of these things to Mark. And he was happy to get in touch with a publishing company, Pitch Publishing. Yeah. There we have my book, Wiped Out, the Jerome Wilson story. So it's out now. Where people can get it from Amazon. In contact with myself so that I can sign a copy and send it out to people if they want to show their support, get a copy of the book. It basically chronicles what it was like for me, for the first year living with a brain injury and I'm coming through it. It shows some high moments and low moments, good choices and bad choices. Because like I said, no one's perfect. And I did a lot of things that were just out of character and just wrong. Do you know what I mean? Just because my mind's not, brain injuries affect you in some profound ways. Yeah. And it's not until you're living with one that you don't understand how it reacts. Because on the outside, you could look fine. Mine's got the scar on my head and that crater. But now I've got the titanium plate on my head, I look normal. Yeah. I look fine. People think, there's nothing wrong with me. I'm speaking fine now. I'm speaking much better due to being able to communicate with a lot of the people, with some of the work that I've been doing, volunteering with other fellow brain injury survivors. I've been doing that on a weekly basis and that's helped me communicate a lot better with other people. I'm just testing myself all the time. So I do want to get back to a certain standard of living where I can be more proud of myself kind of thing. So I can do more, if that makes sense. It's just part of recovery and this understanding what it is you're going through and understanding that you can help other people if they're open to that. Yeah.
And where are you volunteering now, Jerome, now?
For the NHS. It's a rehab centre in Sheffield where I had my own rehabilitation the year after my injury because I had to have the second operation first before they could intervene. They said they couldn't provide any kind of rehabilitation until the year after. Right. So for that first year, I made loads of mistakes. I wasn't even aware of all my issues. I was deluded at times, blinkered, thought I could do this and I could do that. Even when I'm making mistakes or even when I'm putting a lot of stress on my body and doing things incorrectly or making wrong choices. But anyway, I wasn't aware of that until I got into a rehabilitation centre and then did a lot of assessments and tests and things like that. And then there I made aware of how this brain injury is affecting me, so then I can then do something about it. And it's just been a long process. I'm always learning every day. And there's always things that I need to be mindful of, and there's always things that I need to work on continuously or involve other people in. So I'm not making these stupid mistakes, or I'm not doing too much, or I'm doing things that are right for me and right for people around me. So it's all learning. Yeah. So now, because I did well in the rehabilitation and I've incorporated a lot of their strategies into my own life to give me a decent standard of living, even though it's challenging at times. Basically, I do that. So I practice what I preach. So they invited me in to share my experience and co-facilitate within their groups with other people that survive brain injuries. so I can implement my experiences and different kind of strategies. I can explain them to them so they can feel like they're not alone, to give them a bit of like inspiration or motivation to then make changes into their own life so they can live life a little bit easier and a little bit better. Not easy, but more manageable.
Yeah.
And I've been doing that for like 4 years now. I found that very good. So every week we'll do something different. So it could be fatigue, meditation, mindfulness, it could be sleep, it could be, do you know what I mean? Memory. Every week we'll do something different, exercise and fitness and nutrition. We'll talk about different things, and I've got a decent knowledge about certain things behind me to give that information and experience to other people. And that's been very rewarding. So it'll go for 8 weeks. We'll have a break for a month or so, few weeks. Then we'll have another rolling course of 8 weeks, another round with some new people, like 4 or 5 people in each group. They'll be there with their carer or partner, whoever it is, if they want to have somebody else along with them. And it's been more challenging during this COVID because we've had to do it, online. So so we've not been face to face, but we've managed it, and it's been, I think it's been decent. Just with Scarfe in Sheffield, they're a good team of people. We got the psychologists, we got the all different kinds of therapists that are there that help each individual in a personalized way. Do you know what I mean? But it's helped me a lot, like I said, with my communication and confidence, to talk.
Yeah.
And, it's be vulnerable and then say, you know what, this is how it is. This is how it's affected me. But this is how I'm trying to deal with certain things. I've done this and I've done that wrong, or I've done this good, I've done that. So, you know what I mean? You don't feel judged. Right now, I don't care what anyone thinks of me. Even look at the book and think, oh, he's done that. He's an idiot. Or he's done that. Oh, he's a fool. Because they don't know my life and they don't understand what I've been through. So I don't really care too much what other people think if it's negative. Do you know what I mean? If it's positive, but it can give me a bit more of incentive and motivation. I can welcome that. But any kind of negativity, I'm not really too fussed about it because in one ear out the other.
Yeah.
And then carry on with it. It's life, innit?
Exactly.
I've got a second chance of life. And you know what? I'm very proud to be here still and be able to be how I am at the moment. Not how I would like to be, but I am learning still and progressing still.
And do you think you'd like to get back in, pass your knowledge of boxing on?
Do you know what? When I was boxing, I was a personal trainer, fitness instructor and teacher doing different things. And I've always loved coaching. Always loved, helping people get fit, teaching them new things. And I still have that ability to teach. I've still got the eye. If I see someone more moving around, for example, sparring or in any kind of sport, and I can see that they're doing certain things wrong, I can say, just do this a little bit, or do that a little bit, and make different kinds of changes to make improvements for them. I believe I still got that ability to do that, and I love to get into that again. But when I'm ready to do that, and my mind's ready, and my body's ready, and I make that ability where I can actually, every day, I could have that time to focus on them. Right now, I wouldn't be able to do that. On a lot of people on a big scale, I wouldn't be able to do it because it's just too much. And if I can't give them 100% to my clients, I couldn't do that because I do them an injustice, I believe. So right now, it's one of the things. I could talk a good talk, I could do this and that. But when I do it, one day it could be great. The next day it could be poor. Do you know what I mean? I don't want to be like, I've got a bit of OCD. Like I need things to be right all the time. Yeah, perfectionist. That's it.
A bit like our editor.
It has to be done. It has to be done right. Like if you're gonna do something, you have to do it right.
Yeah. Like I said, but something you can get into in the future. In small steps, like we always say. And like you mentioned earlier about, sometimes you felt you got a bit mismanaged at the time. Do you know what I mean? You can pass that knowledge on as well, Jerome.
Yeah.
For these kids, that's vital.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
You know what? It's true. Because while you're in it, you're blinkered. You believe and you trust everything that's around you and what's said. You know what? People are kept ignorant. And it's not until coming out of something that you realize how ignorant you are at times. Why didn't you ask that? Or why didn't you ask that? But you think to yourself, why didn't they tell you that? Do you know what I mean? Why didn't they explain that to you? Is it because they didn't know? Or is it because they didn't want to tell you?
Yeah.
Why you have to find things out for yourself when if there are certain people in a position to do certain things, they should do that properly. Do you know what I mean? And then when you come out and then you know that they've not done this, that, and that, I'm thinking they've not done their job right. If you, as a fact, don't understand what's what and it's not your position to know that because the management or whatever, they should explain certain things to you so you're more comfortable with what's happening, within the business and things like that.
Yeah, it just frustrates me that small.
It is frustrating. You're being kept ignorant. It's like, that's disheartening at times. And some people can take advantage of your good nature at times, and it's what it is. they don't think they're doing any kind of wrong. They think that they're helping still, but they're really helping themselves. A lot of people are ignorant to that. And now I'm aware of that. You know what? I have so much more time for other people. Do you know what I mean? If I'm helping somebody, if I'm talking to somebody, I genuinely want to help them. I don't want to take nothing from people. It's no ego thing or anything like that. It's genuine. If I want to help somebody, I'll give them some certain kind of advice. Yeah. It's from the heart, and it's something to help them progress. Do you know what I mean? Yeah. Some people just do a lot of things just for themselves. They get away with a lot of things, and people are led to believe that they're this, that, or they're good people and this, that, and they're not. But anyway, that's another story.
It happens too much, doesn't it? But,
it does.
It upsets me as well, because I'm all for small old fighters like, Jerome. And I know some don't get treated well enough, and it upsets me. But unfortunately, I ain't got a bottomless pit of money that can help them. But I'll support them with a T-shirt.
Yeah.
That's it.
Thank you for having me.
Thank you.
It's been good to
so
talk
much,
to you.
It's been brilliant.
Thank you very much for coming, mate.
Hi, everyone. Before we finish today's episode, I just wanted to jump in quickly and tell you you can get yourselves a copy of Jerome's book. As mentioned in the episode, it's called Wiped Out, the Jerome Wilson story. I got myself a copy after we met, and I read it in 2 sittings. It is compelling, it's heartfelt, it's inspiring. It's not necessarily a book for boxing fans, although if you are a boxing fan, I'm sure you'll enjoy it all the more. You can contact Jerome directly by email at wipeoutwilsonfitness@gmail.com. Wipeoutwilsonfitness is all one word. And for £15, you'll get a signed copy, and it'll cover your postage and packaging. We'll put all these details, probably in the show notes, but highly recommend it, and it'd be great if you could support Jerome. Thanks very much again, guys.
The Journeyman Cave is produced by James Proud. Music by Ryan Carrier. Special thanks to Rhythm Inc. Studios for hosting. All views expressed are of the guests only. The Journeyman Cave and host bear no responsibility for any opinions given. Follow us on Facebook, Instagram and Twitter @The Journeyman Cave.